Good news, you've just found a 25-year-old E39 with 633 miles. Bad news, we've got to get it back on the road, and we're going to find out what it takes. And here we are, gentlemen. Again, the show before the show, always entertaining. Let me set the table, Zuckerman, if I can. And by the way, we have a guest here who I will introduce momentarily. But it was maybe 6 months ago that I was having my BMW awakening, driving many of your beautiful cars, right? And in that awakening, I drove your 2001 BMW M5, your white car.
Correct.
Your beloved car.
Beloved.
Right? And it was calling you saying, this is great. I'm starting to see what you really love about this thing. And somehow in my travels, I find this Dakar yellow M5. Now, I didn't find it. It's a storied car that's been talked about in the BMW community forever because it is brand new old stock BMW M5 E39 from the year 2000 with 633 original miles on it. And I pitched it to you in the audio show, remember, with Jonny. And I said, do you know this car? You said, I'm aware of this car. It was priced at $270,000. $280. Right. And we talked about there's no other person for this car than Zuckerman. He's probably only got 2 summers left. And he's worked his whole life. And it's like uncorking a rare bottle of wine. There's nobody, in my opinion, that deserved this car more than you. And you bought it.
Well, it was surprising. It was when we were doing the radio show, the audio show. You walked into my house, and it was pre-show. You walked into the yellow kitchen.
Yes.
And you said to me, you're going to buy this car. And frankly, you've never done that before.
That's
Usually
right.
I'm the car pusher.
That's
Usually
right.
I'm saying, we're going to buy this car, or this is a car for you, or I come up with something crazy. This is the first time you were kind of unhinged. And it wasn't unhinged, but for you.
No, I could see, I knew. I mean, I know you so well, and I know what you love, and I just knew what this car would deliver. And you decided to go after it and get it.
Well,
right?
You did sell it to me, and I'm not a hard sell. So you came in and you said to me, look, this is the car. I said, that's an insane price. And you said, but look, in the scheme of things, this is not going to matter to you. This money will not matter to you, but you will love this car.
You will love this car. And your first call was to this gentleman right here. Why don't you introduce this gentleman? You have a long history BMW relationship with him, and you invited him on the show today.
That's correct. This is Drew Leslie. On my right. And
nice to meet you.
Drew Leslie, Spike Ferriston, Johnny Lieberman's over there.
He's hiding behind the camera.
He's off camera.
We only have 3 positions, but Johnny's going to be working the camera today, and then he's going to come on after Drew.
Right. So Drew is the current proprietor of VAG in Ohio.
So all of these beautiful BMWs back there flow from his.
Not every one, but half of them. Half of them.
What about
all of them in the
our
future?
525? No.
But our 525 we were turned on to the 525 by Drew. He called me and said, I have a car for you to buy.
Really?
Right. Yeah, I actually tried to buy the car, but it was so far away from me and there was no margin in the car.
Wow.
I said, well,
let's stay on the Dakar yellow, but I want to talk to you about that after.
Right. Yeah. So what happened when you told me about the Dakar yellow, and I realized it was in Drew's part of the world, and I had a feeling I felt if I called up this place and tried to negotiate my own deal, and I didn't have somebody representing me the way I represent my clients, that it wouldn't go well. That I wouldn't get the best possible deal, or maybe it wouldn't work out. And so I said, you know what? I've got it. The best idea is to call Drew because it's going to need to go to him anyway. Mm-hmm. Might as well involve him from the very beginning.
And so the car was where?
It was in Illinois.
It's in Illinois. You're in the home of Grater's Ice Cream.
That's true.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
I'm surprised you know that. Yeah.
I love Grater's. Yeah. It's my favorite ice cream.
The best.
Chili on spaghetti.
Yeah.
And you've got a tricky negotiation in that you've got this kind of irresponsibly priced car that everybody knows about that no one's made a move on because it's so stupidly overpriced, right?
Right. So I want to bring pro to pro because it's at a car dealership And we know, there's, as I always say, civilians and soldiers.
Right.
I can't, as a civilian, go up against a soldier. And these guys sell cars for a living. Okay, I understand. I'm a negotiator, but I'm not a car negotiator.
Right.
I'm a consumer. So I need to bring in a soldier that's going to be able to go and get into the weeds with these people at the dealership, dealer to dealer, and get the best possible price. Also, I know the car is not going to be something I want to just get off of a truck and start driving. It hasn't been driven for 25 years.
It has to be recommissioned. That's the good news. You've got this low mileage car. The bad news, no one's driven it, so there's some work to be done.
So everything points to the direction of Mr. Drew Leslie here.
So Drew, how do you approach first this negotiation? With what you know about this car? I'm sure you already knew about it.
Yeah.
You know the story. It's been at this dealership since new, right? And no one's been able to extricate it from there. I'm sure they've had lowball offers. What was your first move?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of luck that we fell into, which I don't know if we'll talk about that, but
well,
go ahead.
you just brought it up.
Tell the story.
You just brought it up.
Step one, I don't want to deal with the salesperson there, right? So soldier to soldier, I'd rather deal with the decision maker. So as the owner of EAG, I wanted to deal with the owner of that particular dealership. It was Bill Bryan, BMW in Chicago. I ended up getting a hold of the general manager of the dealership, and he had verbal diarrhea and told me the whole story. The dealer principal of that dealer group owned the car. He purchased the car with dealer funds for his personal use.
Oh, it's your favorite.
Yes, right.
Fraud.
Right. My money, your money, it's all my money.
But most people when you told me this before the show started, I was like, well, I don't understand the problem with that. But there is a problem.
It's a gray area.
It's a gray area.
Okay, so
fair enough.
Gray area.
If you're driving it or keeping it for personal
We'll leave it at that. Okay.
Yeah, long story short, the board and the general manager they had to get this car out. And we found that out midway through the negotiating. So at that point, we knew we were in the driver's seat. So we just kind of pushed and pushed and pushed. We got a pretty good deal on the car. We will keep it private, what we ended up paying for it.
I think we mentioned it on the show, I thought. Didn't we talk about it?
I don't know. But
right,
we won't mention it today.
Got it.
We definitely paid significantly less than market
But it wasn't
value.
$280.
It was not 280. It was quite a bit less.
Okay.
And put quite a bit of money. All the same, it was a lot of money.
And I've argued, to Paul this whole time, I think the car's worth right now, it's still worth over $300,000. And that's before we even touch it.
I do too. I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, he agrees.
More imaginary money for me to spend. What am I buying tomorrow?
I think the car's worth $8 million. Yeah, that's what I think. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like this thing. It's so funny about cars. You have these hidden gems laying around. There's stuff laying in barns. And if it's, if it's at a dealership, you don't think of it as a truly beautiful collectible thing. That car goes on Bring a Trailer. I think he's absolutely right.
I do too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that Yellowbird just sold at Amelia yesterday for 5.5. I was sitting right in front of it. And
wow.
That was a sight to see.
Yeah.
So,
another record for roof.
Yeah. I mean, go find another one of these. Granted, it's not a Yellowbird, but
no, but
go find another one.
But see, and this was my point to Zuckerman. When you've worked and you've got money, these are the things that you can only do once in life.
Correct.
These are time machines. And you and I have bought preservation cars so many times. I've never regretted overpaying for something with no miles on it.
But you have regretted not actually pulling the trigger.
Oh my God.
Remember?
Don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The 911S, was that the one?
70S, silver black, 800 miles?
Right.
Fossack Polak license plate frames and blue plates. The most original 70S in the world.
And they wanted 90 grand at the
No, they offered it to me for 150. Now I bought my 70S with 6,000 miles for 50, and that was a stupid number back then.
Right.
It was only 150.
Right.
For a car that's probably worth $1 million, right?
Right.
Yeah. Jerry turned it down. I turned it down. We both offered it again. We both got on the phone and said our green cars are better. It was so stupid. Every moment of the conversation was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mistake.
So you were giving me good advice. And you were right. You were right. And I don't want to jump to the conclusion of how happy I am. But,
No. Let's go through it.
Let's go through it.
So you negotiated a price that was fair. You guys, I remember when you were going through it and you get the car and The next step is you get the car delivered to EAG,
Correct.
right? And
Yes.
you send it and you have a look at it. I think we have some of those initial videos somewhere that we can look at here. All right, so this is you started shooting video when the car was delivered to EAG. Here's one of the videos that Zuckerman sent me. It was so fun to watch this stuff. Is that your finger right there?
Yeah,
What's
that was, yeah.
And
Yeah,
this
very
was
famous
you
finger.
looking at the car for the very first time?
This is the second time I think I looked at it. It was here for maybe a week before I ended up taking that video.
Right.
You know, and it's like getting a car like this is like Christmas, right? You know what the car should be. It's got 600 miles on it, but there's always going to be a surprise or two.
Right.
Just from being in a garage for 25 years.
So what are those things that you found in that first initial visit with the car?
Yeah, well, we actually do 2 full inspections. I think that's what makes EAG the best in the world at the rejuvenation process. The best.
in the world.
I'm very proud to
If
say.
I may
there's
say
nobody
so
better.
myself.
I am the best
I
in
am
the
the
world
best in the world.
at what I do, and you are the best at what you do.
We are all
And
the
then-
best.
And then Mr. Leslie, but Johnny, you're the worst.
The heckler in the corner.
Right. But go ahead.
But so all joking aside, we do send it through a cosmetic inspection first. It generally takes a full day. We go, inside and outside of the car. Sometimes we go underneath the car on a vehicle like this, and we find any little imperfection. I think the finger comment was on the driver's side door at the very front corner. There's a little tiny imperfection. To me, it looks like it came from the factory, and nobody touched it up over the years. Usually a day or two later, we're going to go through a mechanical inspection, which is where the fun really happens. On a car with 600 miles that has not been heat cycled clearly in 25 years, you're going to find a lot of things that have dry rotted over time. So all the fluids are going to have moisture in it. Brake fluid's going to be 20% water at that point in time. And then you put a punch list together. And we had roughly a $30,000 rejuve ticket for him. Of items that we needed to repair.
Wow.
And that's a
lot of money, right?
It's a lot.
So this dealership just let it sit there. Were all the fluids still in it? I
don't know how original the fluids were because we can't really see that, but they clearly have passed.
They weren't driving at 5 miles a year or just something.
I don't think so.
And that necessarily wouldn't help. So, for example, gas,
Yeah, right.
Gas is going to get bad after a while.
Yeah,
And you said the gas in the tank was 50% water.
It was, there's a lot of moisture in the
Was the gas tank rusty at all?
It was not, but we had to replace both sending units in the tank. They were both rotten. They didn't work.
But also, like a regular E39 M5 with 40,000 miles on it, what's it worth?
Yeah, so let's assume it's the same color.
Well, no, just a silver
Just a normal?
one. Just a silver one.
The
They're worth,
silver one, 40,
40,000.
55 to 65 if it's not one
but
of
a
our
30,000 resto bill on an E39 M5 is crazy.
If you want to do it right,
Best in the world.
If you got the best in the world car, I could send it to the guy down the street, or I could send it to the guy who's going to do it.
Just trying to frame the numbers if people aren't familiar with the values.
Number.
Yeah.
It's a big
Well,
number.
I will say also we were talking earlier off camera. I had a velvet blue E39 with 80,000 miles. That was going to be one of my cars. We spent $70,000 on that car in rejuve, and it was we paid $50 for the car.
Yeah.
So I spent more on rejuve than I did for the car.
And there are a lot of decisions that need to be made: preservation versus I just want this thing working. And you're going to take us through the car. We're going to break a camera off in a second, but first let's talk about RaceDeck. Over 2 decades ago, RaceDeck was invented, a cost-effective, durable, and truly do-it-yourself modular flooring system engineered for the garage. RaceDeck's multi-patent design allows for easy do-it-yourself installation without all the hassles and mess of toxic epoxy coatings. Choose from over 20 styles to create the coolest garage. Look at Zuckerman. That guy.
Look at him. I'm going to be that guy.
No, this is the guy who's really mean to everybody with bad garages like me. Every time I post a picture of my garage, by the way, at home, it's like, where's the RaceDeck? But I'm clearing motorcycles out. Remind me to tell you about some of the motorcycles I'm getting rid of, but so I can get the RaceDeck in. Anyway, you want RaceDeck. It can handle vehicle rolling loads in excess of 80,000 pounds, doesn't chip, peel, or stain, and has over 20 styles and even more color options. Check out racedeck.com and use code SPIKE911 for 15% off and free shipping. All right, let's take a look at this car. And today, look at this. Jonny Lieberman is our camera. Hi, Jonny. Oh, look, that nice new Sheffield with a Swiss movement just got a nice hit. Wow. There
Okay.
goes Jonny. This is fun.
All right, let's start off by obviously claiming the most obvious, which this car is a Dakar yellow. From the numbers that Paul and I have right now, this is a 1 of 8 or 1 of 9 car. And We think there's actually 2 or 3 of these.
I'm going to do that to his head. Jesus.
That was really loud,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Thanks,
what
Johnny.
are you doing? All right, Dakar yellow.
Dakar yellow, pretty rare. 8 or 9 in the world, and only I think 6 or 7.
Only 8 or 9 in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's an individual color. And Johnny, if you open the door, maybe on the driver's side.
Well, let's stay on the outside for a second,
Stay on
because
the
I'm
outside.
noticing things on the front bumper there. There's some little holes. What is that?
Yeah,
What's
Paul,
happening?
for whatever reason, drilled 2 holes because he
Yeah,
wanted
I
to put
did
the
that.
license plate.
No. Who did this? This was
So this is we assume it's the original owner. I certainly didn't do it. I would never do this. It is a crime. And I actually brought a gift for Paul. It is the little bumper plugs because it is the one thing that we forgot to do on the car before we deliver
That's
it.
right.
Wow, so
Always a failure.
So someone wanted to put the license plate on, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's a holder in the back, and
There is.
you
yeah.
took it off, and you wouldn't have done it, but
Wouldn't have done it,
somebody
and
did.
we didn't want to paint the bumper. Everything
Right.
on this car is original. So we decided to leave it as is. And,
Show us
and-
the imperfection that you were talking about on the door.
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
So it's right in front of the mirror, the very corner tip of that mirror. Go to the same corner. I don't know if you can still see it. Yep.
Right
It
there.
is.
Where do you see? What? I don't see anything.
There's a little, you see that little mark?
Let's see if we can get Johnny's finger.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
Little guy. So I think that can be
That's
polished
an
out.
ugly finger.
I asked Paul if we could do all the conditioning items,
That
but he
was
says
Johnny.
he has a
I said
he's a
no.
guy.
I said no. We've got a guy. We've got Mark.
You got a guy.
Amazing
It's-
Mark.
Oh no, a fly is on.
Oh my God.
What is happening with
they're
the
taking
flies?
over.
Anyway, it's always the story with these cars. They just because they're low mileage doesn't mean they don't have these little imperfections. But
Correct.
I find that I forget about them like a minute after I have the car. Like so far, I've seen nothing that would actually bother me at all.
Yeah.
in any way.
They don't bother me either, but our job is to make it as perfect as
So
possible.
what did you do to this car?
Yeah, we did.
Is there a
like
new
I said,
headliner in it, for instance?
We did. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite, if not my favorite story on the car. We purchased the very last OEM headliner in the world that was in stock from BMW.
You know how many times I've heard that a part on a car is the very last part in the world, but we're going to believe you. I will believe you on
How do
this.
you know
one.
it was the last one in the world?
Because we have stock numbers, so you can look it up. And you
Really?
just- yeah, it
Oh,
was-
that's cool,
it was the
Zuckerman.
last.
I like that.
Yeah,
the last headliner in the world is a funny thing to
Yes.
brag about.
Yeah. Now, another cool story.
Can you tell me why that needed to be replaced?
Yeah, so typical BMW, from the golden era, anything in the early to mid 2000s, your interior is going to fall apart. I swear they made it out of balsa wood and recycled glue.
So it starts to sag.
It starts to sag.
Kind of
Yeah,
like us, Zuckerman.
Yes.
yeah, just like old age.
Like your neck.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we
Thank you.
took care of that. There wasn't much else on the inside except some standard hard plastic pieces, like on the dash and the center console. There's like there's a spray-on soft touch that they have in the manufacturer, and it turns chalky with time. It gets a little white. So we replaced some interior bits. Mainly, it was getting the car mechanically ready to drive. It was like control arms, other suspension work. We needed to make sure the Vanos was obviously working. The accumulator was bad.
Let's
Spark
look.
plugs were
Can we
bad.
look under the hood?
The
Oh, boy.
hood releases in the grill. Looks like you
There
found
it is. Wow.
And my favorite feature are
Well,
the
hold on.
Eventuri
The
intakes.
dine-in wasn't originally there. This is something you've done, right?
That is correct. We give it a little extra body rigidity, so that this car does have a little bit of body roll, just from that era, which is an acquired taste. I generally like it. That stiffens it up a little bit.
What about those big carbon fiber pieces
Those-
there? I don't recognize those.
Those big carbon fiber pieces are Eventuri intakes. So
So you added those. Why?
we did for not only horsepower but induction noise. This is the S62 V8 motor is a 400 horsepower NA V8. Once again, the golden era of BMW.
Yeah,
you
what
should
a
at least
great
hear
engine.
it.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the sound and the feel.
So does this increase horsepower at all?
It does. It really does.
To what? So from 400.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the spec sheet.
But
I
what
don't.
would just 10s,
probably 12 to
20,
15 if I had to
12 to
guess.
15?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it change the sound at all?
It does. You're going to get a very visceral induction noise out of
Holy
it.
moly, Zuckerman.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not quite
such a
as loud as the white car,
Yeah.
but it still issues threat. It's a threat warning. The
I
rumble
know.
of
But
the
a
car.
V8 BMW,
It's the best.
I mean, this engine, I rarely get that excited
Right.
about the engines. This one I'm very excited about.
Have
what
you
I'm
driven it
looking
yet?
Huh? No,
You have not?
this is
Okay.
the first time seeing it. The first time I've seen the car.
Well, we combined the intake with an Eisenman exhaust as well, so you really get to hear the induction and the exhaust noise.
Oh, you must be thrilled. You've been driving it.
Oh yeah, I could really put a lot of miles on this car. It is so fun.
So
to
you
drive.
feel this setup here. You can feel the difference these modifications have made.
I think in period, if I was to guess in period, they backed off a little bit of what they could have done with this car. In 2000, a car coming to the States in particular, the U.S. would get BMWs that were always a little bit less than the rest of the world. Same with Porsches.
Right.
And so I don't think that they exploited the full potential of this car. They left a little bit off, and it just needed a little push. But 400 horsepower in that time period, that's a lot of horsepower in 2000.
Wow.
That was a big deal. So we probably pushed this, 10% overall with everything we've done.
Yeah, with the tune, the intake exhaust, you're probably pumping around 430, 440. And don't
so
forget,
nice.
in 99, this was the fastest sedan in the world. It was 190 miles an hour.
Right.
And back then, the F40 I think set the record at 200 or 201 or something like that. So this is a gentleman's daily driver where you can get on the Autobahn and go almost 200 miles an hour.
Gentlemen.
Walk
in.
Well,
Show us the trunk, Johnny. Open it up. Let's have a look. I want to see more juicy NOS, new old stock pieces of this thing.
new things.
The trunk, you can just open it up, I think. Yeah.
He had to
That
use
was
his
a
fancy
great button.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
This is
Turn that over, that front pad there, that front license plate. Look at that, still in the bag. Look at all the. Take that out and let's look at the numbers, Johnny. Can you do that? Look at this. I love
the original manufacturer.
Look, magic marker. Original magic marker on a car is so tasty. What are those numbers in black there? Do you know? Is that the VIN?
I don't think that's the VIN. I don't know what. That's probably a part number.
Wow,
Or it's
so
associated
beautiful.
with the
And are
VIN.
those the original mats that have just never been out of the package?
We ended up buying a new set of mats. Even though the car hasn't been driven, the original mats were degrading. The threads were coming out. Yeah, the piles.
So these are new old stock
New
or
old
just
stock.
new old stock
Yep.
M5 mats,
which
wow.
is complimentary of EAG.
Yeah, I mean,
have to.
so much of the formula for what you're doing is how do we keep everything preserved, but then how do we just use this car now,
Right,
right?
correct.
Without, ruining the value of it. And you do have to make decisions like this. Again, like I've never regretted those. When you make a
Right.
car a great driver like this, it's all fine. But if you get too obsessive about originality, sometimes you're driving something that feels kind of crappy in places, and the car doesn't deserve that. It deserves to be spruced up.
Right. What Lieberman is looking at right now is one of the anomalies of this era. That 6 CD changer back there is actually for navigation discs. You got a set of 6 CDs with a rudimentary map in it
Right.
that you would scroll through on the screen
Yes.
that's inside the car. And if you notice, the stereo system is a cassette. So we're bridging two worlds. We've
insane.
got a cassette player and we've got a rudimentary navigation. And the screen is, your phone is as big as that screen.
So now everything works. The radio works. The heat works.
Absolutely.
All the
Everything
lights
works.
work. We've gone through everything.
Yeah, I personally shook this car down. My business partner was the wizard behind all the work. Obviously,
You're one of the few places that does that. I've seen your cars delivered before where you
Yeah.
guys actually just look at the dumb little shit after. Does the horn work?
Correct.
Do the directionals work?
Correct.
Do the lights? So many cars get delivered without these little
so
touches.
frustrating.
And I don't think dealers and sellers understand how infuriating that is when you're excited and your baby's delivered and something doesn't work, even if it's small.
And it seems to be the horn. More
It's always
often
the horn.
than not, it's the horn.
Yeah.
It's
you get
horn
something.
one.
Yeah, horn is the number one problem.
Like, how
or
did
the
you
rear
miss
windows
that?
on a BMW.
Really?
With the, window regulators
They don't
which we
go.
replaced, by the way.
Wow. Well, Drew,
On yours, yeah.
thank you for flying all out and doing this with us.
Yeah, I
It's
appreciate you
been
guys having
really
me.
fun.
This has been,
It's
it's
been,
been great.
It's been a lot of fun being on the BMW journey with Zuckerman and you.
This
What
is
that?
very funny.
These are how many bodies you can put inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, golf bags.
How to stow 3 golf bags.
How to get
Wow.
them in there.
Amazing. That's an amazing little plaque. It's an awesome car, Zuckerman. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you for
Yeah.
everything you did. Thank you.
Wow.
I appreciate the experience.
Well, there's a new podcast that I want you guys to check out with our friend Jim Farley from Ford. It's called Drive with Jim Farley, and it's where Ford CEO Jim Farley and cousin of Chris Farley talks to some of the favorite people in his car world, talks about what they drive and what drives them to succeed. In each episode, you're going to hear Jim speak to people like Vicky Butler Henderson, the British racing driver, Randy Nonnenberg from Bring a Trailer. I'm pretty sure he talked to Gronk the other day. It's quite a show. You got to check it out. I've been listening to the episodes of Drive with Jim Farley, and now you should too. And Jim Farley will, I think, be on the show next week. He's coming on to promote Drive with Jim Farley. To listen to Drive with Jim Farley, just search for Drive with Jim Farley in your podcast app. That's Drive with Jim Farley in your podcast app. It's Drive. Look. How about that? We inspired Jim Farley to get a podcast. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
It's his second podcast.
We inspired 2 podcasts.
We were asking for that new GTD? Isn't
Yes.
that right? And he said, no, you know what? I think I'm going to make my own show. So
Actually, you know what's crazy with the tariffs, the GTD, because it's manufactured in Ontario.
Yeah.
So the $325,000 base price gets an $80,000 bump
I guess I'm out.
I think they suspended those.
for a month, maybe. Who knows?
Well, maybe we'll work it in. And by the way, do you have all the original stuff? You have this original car. Yeah. All the stuff they took off, like what that headliner. Do you have all that stuff?
All of it. Everything is cryovac. It's sealed. With
Walt Disney's head.
Yes, exactly. We have the original tires, the headliner, the control arms, everything.
Original tires is always a funny thing to have. I've had those before, but they're really hard. But that's good.
Yeah, you want to have it to sell
right.
But I don't want to keep them.
Right.
I actually have a storage area not far where I have so many original tires. I don't know if I would know what car they're to. I may not even own some of those cars.
Could I put some Toyota parts in there?
No. No.
How long after the funeral can we sell that car?
Don't wait till I'm dead. Wait when I'm in hospice. When I'm in hospice is when you want to start plundering. You don't want to
throw the money at you in the bed.
No. Why? Okay,
I got your money.
It's like going to the flea market. You want to get there early. So when I'm in hospice, you start. The whole family's going to be away. They're going to be there at hospice with me. You can get anything you want.
Yeah.
They won't know.
That's what we got to do is just get power of attorney over Zuckerman. Could you imagine the fun we could have?
Let's talk about cars and fun. I just came back.
That was fun.
I just came back from this Indian Wells Tennis Open. You guys don't know much about tennis, but it's called the BNP Paribas Open. But it's essentially Southern California's big pro tennis event. And I went up there with the Pali High tennis team, the boys and girls of the Pali High tennis team, whose town, most of their school and everything else, many of the houses burned down, obviously. So this was a big day for them. And we had the greatest time. First of all, the folks from Babolat, which is, as you know, they sponsor Spike First and Carlos Alcaraz with equipment. They're 150-year-old. They're the oldest racket company in the world. They actually kind of predate a lot of tennis. Let me just show you what Babolat did. They brought these kids. They brought 80 kids from Palisades High. That's Bud Kling, the winningest coach in high school tennis history, who has been coaching the Palisades High School team for 47 years, where he started as an assistant coach to another guy named Bud. Bud Ware. There were 2 Buds there.
Bud Klung. To Bud Kling.
That's Bud. And there's the team. Babolat brought them on to the courts. These are hallowed grounds. This is like being brought onto the field at Fenway. They brought equipment out there for them. They gave them new rackets. They gave them new shoes. They gave them gift bags. They really went above and beyond. And I just wanted to thank in the show Sally Morris from Babolat, Ann, who's doing marketing from them, Elliot, Alan Iverson, who handles Babolat from Southern California. They just made...
Alan Iverson?
It's a different guy. But
the other Alan Iverson.
Parents were teary, obviously, because of the tragedy suffered there. And this was like... Look at this. Look what else happens here. The WTA, which is the Women's Pro League, Here's that the kids are there. They give them $10,000, a check for 10 grand.
Just being there?
Just for being there. And go to the next photo next to it right there. But this is United States player Madison Keys, who famously just won the Australian Open. Heard the kids were there, came out and took a picture with everybody.
I want one of those giant balls.
Yeah, they hand those out to the kids so you can get autographs. And the kids all behave. But what an amazing day.
Very nice, Ferguson.
To get down there, I called my friends at Porsche because I go every year to this. And I said, I need something fun. Last year, I took a beautiful Bentley down. I said, I need something fun to take. We're staying at the Parker, that cool hotel in Palm Springs.
The greatest hotel.
And Luke from Porsche said, let me get you a car right away. I mean, I called him like 3 days before. And he sent me the car that's back there, the Panamera Turbo E-Hybrid. Even though I don't think there's an S on that one.
Big dog.
Big dog of a car. And I said, send it. We're going to talk about it. Let's go look at it right now. You know, when Luke called and said, I've got this car, I went, oh, a Panamera, yay. Because I've always lately just been, they should just stop making these. I don't know who's buying them anymore. Nobody's buying them.
Nobody's buying sedans anymore. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. This was a bullseye car for a drive to Palm Springs on the highway. You know that straight shot on the 10 that I'm doing. And I've got the wife and I've got gear. Somehow my wife managed to pack 2 gigantic suitcases for one day, for one night at the Parker.
Yeah, amazing.
And she was laughing about it. We were so comfortable in this car, but here's, I can go through the specs. We can talk about it a little bit. 0 to 60 in this car, Zuckerman, is 2.8 seconds. Okay. And and you've got here, these are the stats the only stats that matter to me. 2.8 seconds, 0 to 60 with a monster motor and 50 all electric miles, 40-50, right?
Remarkable.
With a little turn of the dial, right? And I really wasn't paying attention. I didn't have a chance to get up to speed on the car. The Calvin from Porsche wanted me to sit through an hour-long presentation. And I was like, Calvin, I can't. But I said, he goes, you gotta go through the presentation, or I can't give you the car. Kind of implication. And I said, you know what? Johnny's a real journalist. He knows these cars. He'll tell me all about it. Just send me all the information you had. And he was like, that's fine.
Smart.
But you haven't driven this car.
No.
He knows nothing.
But I have sat through several Panamera hour-long presentations in my career.
And they're dreadful, right?
Well, the greatest of all time, probably the hardest I've ever laughed in my life was we're in Berlin. And so the Germans have this thing with dancing. It's hard to explain, but if you go to group night. They do? If you go to Volkswagen Group Night, there's 10 brands, Ducati, the Lamborghini, the Bugatti, Bentley. Before each brand presents for what used to be Group Night at the Geneva show, they'd have a dance presentation. I'm not kidding. You'd sit through 10 dance performances. And I asked the guy from Volkswagen, I was like, what the fuck is with this?
What kind of dance? Like Big Lebowski?
Straight face. The guy looks at me and says, dance is the art of mobility and we have a mobility company. I said, okay. Anyways, the Panamera one, the male dancer walks out very, very quickly. He's got half of a like split in half down the middle, half of a suit and half of a racing suit. And then a woman dressed as an angel and a woman dressed as a devil comes out. And they do like this.
Oh, I like that part.
They do this pushing tango with the guy.
This is for a Panamera?
This is the global launch. It's loaded with idiot journalists in Berlin.
God.
They built like an auditorium.
That's funny.
And wait. They do all that. They do all that. It goes on for 2 minutes. Then the CEO of Porsche at the time walks up and goes, as the dancers have shown. And I was with Jethro Bovington and Harry Catchpole. We lost our shit. We were literally, and I know what literally means, rolling on the floor, dying, repeating, as the dancers have shown.
As the dancers have shown, the Porsche Panamera is nimble and has a devilish side
and an angel side.
It was like
line up to the left and line up to the right.
It was like you couldn't parody that if you tried.
Now, if that had been the presentation, I would have watched that.
You should have sat through. That's what it was.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it was going to be rear glass is edge to edge on the hatch while making it wider. Fenders are sharper. Let's take it into the front fascia. Can we go to slide 6? And then I would put a gun in my mouth. I would eat my gun at that moment. But that said,
yeah.
let me tell you something. And so he sends me the spec of the car, and I'm like, okay, whatever. This will be fun. It's definitely, like, I've got this Lotus Emira right now. I don't want to drive Erica in that. That's going to be hard sitting in the traffic. This car is such a home run for this drive. This car is such a home run for someone who drives the highways for an hour every day. It is a road eater. It is a road eater. Let me tell you what I mean by that, aside from the 0 to 60 and the passing ability. I've had another funny moment, and maybe this is more about my imminent dementia, but where I hear an alarm going off, and I look down, and I'm at a speed in the 3 digits, which was stunning. Like, it's Palm Springs and it's open. I just went to overpass some slow traffic and got on it to see what it could do, and it was so bloody fast, so quick. That I was so delighted.
Hypothetically, what number does this alarm chime at? Hypothetically.
Well, in the car, there's a tire pressure reminder at 135. That says, I'm not sure I hit that or what this chime was that I hit. But
Your Honor.
But it was so smooth.
Well, this is not dementia. I don't know what it is, but it's good.
No, but in any case, the city spike, the city driver in me would not drive this thing. But again, like if I'm commuting and I've got 226, 240 for this spec right here in Oak Green. And this is just the turbo. It's not the Turbo S, which I understand is faster. If I had that, this is so comfortable, so quiet, and so bloody fast. And again, with that little EV knob, which I'm using more and more, we're leaving the parker. By the way, everybody's loving the car, taking pictures there, and you just cruise away, silent EV mode, and you pop it on, and it goes, pow. It's such a winner.
Lieberman, how much faster is the S version?
So, top of my head, you're looking at like 671 horsepower for this. And the S gives you 100. It's 771.
So this is 512 in the 32 valve 4 liter motor.
Yeah, then you add the hybrid,
and then 187.
Yeah, so it's 671.
Yeah,
and then
lots of torque.
Yeah,
I mean it's and again it's one of these things that we all know what's in these cars, but it just wraps its arms around you, and you're so comfortable and relaxed for the drive. It's got the cruise control that does most of the work, and the lane change it drifts a little here and there, but it makes that drive. Remember we used to talk about when they first brought out the new Range Rovers, how you could make that drive to Vegas and just almost sleep and feel like you're on autopilot. You could do that in this car.
This is light years ahead.
Yeah, you get into traffic, the car drives itself, you get out of it, it goes.
That's what's wild about the Panamera, though. And you're right, we forget about it. But you put this up against an equivalent from Mercedes, an equivalent from BMW, equivalent from Cadillac, and this just always is on top. Because it's just as good in a straight line like what you did, and you take it up in the canyons, take it on a racetrack, and it's Porsche all of a sudden.
Yeah. So
but
nothing.
Unfortunately, it doesn't sell. But when I hear the stats and I hear you talking about it, I go, wow, what a car.
But 240.
But again, like it's not our job to make these cars sell. But I do know there's someone listening or watching right now who's like, that's me. I'm in traffic for an hour and a half every day on the highway. Some of it's open road, some of it's not. And I just need to chill out because I get to work and life is stressful.
Right.
This is that thing. Or I have to drive my family every weekend. You're really happy in this because just look at that.
Right.
It's not
a pretty car.
It's not just a boring Mercedes sedan. This thing will light the highway on fire when you need to,
but the issue,
and then put you to sleep when you need to sleep. It's great.
The issue, though, at $240,000, you could buy Zuckerman's yellow BMW, or it's not even the most expensive one. If you want the S, then you're paying more than $240.
But that's not really. I mean, we can talk to those folks if you want, but this is a very specific target and pitch for somebody. You know what I mean? This is for 1% of our audience. Is like this. This is something
I would have one.
Question I have: is this car drivable from a technological point in 15 years? Or 20 years?
Sure.
20 years, you're going to be able to continue to be driving this.
Here's the thing. So in 2 years, when the BMW Neue Classic comes out, and then in 2029 when the new Mercedes EV comes out, 671 horsepower would literally be nothing. Like the M3 or M5 replacement, 1400 horsepower, 4 motors, like perfect control. You know what I mean? And that'll be like the state of the art. So this will, in 15 years, this will just be like a car today from 2005. You know what I mean? Like it's just so much slower. But no, it'll be great. It'll still drive great.
Okay, what are you going to do with 1400 horsepower?
Me?
I know you. I know, Bugatti cracked the 1000 horsepower a long time ago, but your average person?
I mean, look, it's horsepower is just a number. I'll never forget, when the Viper came out and it made 400 horsepower. Steve Van Toon, former Motor Trend editor-in-chief, writer, just passed away. I'll never forget his review of the first Viper. He's like, it's something like, I've never taken an F-14 off of a aircraft carrier, so I can't say the acceleration's exactly like that, but it might be. And that was, so
right.
Everything's
now
relative.
Today, right.
Yeah, So look, Pininfarina Battista I drove, 1900 horsepower, greatest thing I ever drove. Look perfect. So,
but we like it. Rocket ship acceleration, great handling, all-wheel drive, a little EV fun, so you can keep it real with your neighbors. Lots of power and lots of and a good new look. I like it. Let's talk about EveryPlate. EveryPlate can help you dish up better habits with delicious, easy recipes delivered to your door, including new Calorie Smart, Carb Smart, and Protein Smart options with new Smart Swap recipes. You can swap flour tortillas for lettuce wraps, white rice for lettuce, and potatoes for sweet potatoes to make better for you meals. Skip the store. Enjoy wholesome homemade meals that cost less than groceries. This product is endorsed by Erica Ferriston and the horrible Ferriston boys who complain about all food and don't when there's an EveryPlate meal and literally go, yay, we have EveryPlate. I'm not joking. Start with 50% off your first box with code SPIKE50 at everyplate.com/podcast. EveryPlate offer valid with auto renewing subscription. There you go. Oh,
nice.
We may have finally gotten the fly. I told you we have a new pest control sponsor that might be coming in south, but it's really way better than it's ever been. It's 1 or 2 flies now.
It's colder.
It's heating up.
When it heats up, we're going to get more.
Yeah, they are. You are right. They are coming in from outside. So it's when the doors open but as you've seen, they're attracted to like sugar-free sodas. They're into it.
And Zuckerman's skull.
Or Huels. They're attracted to these Huel energy drinks.
But we have less because we did dispose of the fruit.
Yes.
The rotting fruit definitely attracted more flies.
I meant to mention that I am selling something. Something that I've owned for 23 years. The auction isn't live. No, I've owned her for a lot longer. She better not hear that or I'm going to be in trouble. But, Palisades High School really needs some help. So I'm taking something out of my collection. We're going to sell it on Bring a Trailer, thanks to our friend Randy Nonnenberg. My 66 Triumph Bonneville is going.
Good.
Yeah.
Why? You want me to live?
Yes, I'm as your friend.
Well, I love this bike. It's my only bike that takes gas, let's just say. But it's really my only road riding motorcycle that I own. I have electric stuff that I ride around. This bike I've had since 2003.
When you were in your 30s.
Jerry said...
It's a big difference.
Jerry said, that's right around the time I got the 917, and he's right. We both got these things. Now, this is not a matching numbers bike. It's my bike. I bought it from a lumberjack because I liked the way it looked, and I've been working on it for 21 years? I did. A lumberjack in British Columbia. His name was Dick Kane.
He should be Bud Clapp.
I wouldn't say it's Steve McQueen's Triumph, but it's Spike First's Triumph that was ridden around Steve McQueen's house.
Owned by Dick Kane.
No, the lumberjack. This guy, I remember he goes, I'm a lumberjack in British Columbia, and I just don't have much use for it. But he had put it together
on a porn set in the valley somewhere. I'm a lumberjack. Dick Kane.
I'm playing lumberjack. I'm playing a Canadian lumberjack.
No, I have all the. I found all the import papers. I put a ton of money into this bike. I was just like, Jesus. So I think I paid like $7,000 for it back then. And then I've just been dumping money in the damn thing. I'm looking at all the service records. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But there you go. So that'll be up soon. Also, this guy, fans, listeners, viewers will write us all on Instagram.
No.
Oh boy.
No,
He only gets hate mail. He has the anti-fans.
it's nonstop, and I love all of it. I enjoy interacting with everybody, and everybody sends us the same stories here and there and whatever. But I got this letter the other day that really made me laugh, just because of there's up until now I won't say like the entitlement of some people, the entitlement. The entitlement email or direct message I get the most is, "Hey, love the show, Spike. It's really good. I'm coming to LA or two. You know where it goes.
Be my tour guide.
Yeah.
Where do I go? What do I do?"
Right,
Which could be an opportunity to start hey, Spike's Car Radio LA. We can show you. But they always go, what do I? They're asking for me to be their tour guide and or, hey, I want to come by and hang out with you and Zuckerman and Jonny. And I'm like, well, I don't know you.
Just be sad in your house like the rest of us.
There's no audience. I got a guy the other day that says, I want to be in the audience. It's done. There's no audience here.
We occasionally auction that off for charity. But this one takes the cake. This is a good one. Mr. Ferris and I love the show, and I have been listening for over 2 years. Well, we've been on for 7. Every Wednesday on my commute to work from Portugal Cove, St. Philip's to my office in St. John's, Newfoundland.
Oh, he's up there. He's down east, as they say.
Yes. Since the show has moved to video, I have noticed a delay in when it is uploaded on Spotify, the audio version, compared to the past. Anyway, if you have any control over the timing of this release, I leave around 7:45 a.m. Newfoundland time, which is 6:15 Eastern. While I realize this is an odd request, it would be appreciated if you could change it by 20 minutes, please.
Or just listen on fucking Thursday on your commute, asshole.
This is really... No, I like this guy.
Thank you for your time. Here's his site. Here's the guy right here. His name is James Strickland, 87. He's got some food on him. Oh, man. So this is his whole Instagram site?
That's it. He just has 6 posts.
Well, we'll go to the Santa first. Let's see. Maybe that's...
Is that him?
Is that the guy?
Well, maybe Santa will bring him his...
Do you think? That looks like a stock photo. That doesn't look real.
The kid doesn't look real. The adults look real.
All right. What? Show me his food. Did he post poutine?
Poutine.
Poutine.
I don't even know what that is. And then what? There was
that looks really good, actually.
Beneath that, there was a piece of meat.
Yeah, let's see that one. What is
with
that?
no caption.
It looks like a roast.
These are the charred remains of my wife.
My cranium.
Wow.
Anyway, he doesn't have much of an Instagram game going.
The food looks so good. I'd like to revise.
But his kid's cute. Look at the little picture of if that is indeed his kid, and not something he's stolen.
His
grandkid.
Strickland, next time you're driving by, drop on in.
So James, if I may address you directly, James, for your grandson, your beautiful grandson, there, we're going to change the release time of this show. Look at some applause there. I've talked to the boys, the team in Austin at Q6 Media, and they've told me, even though it will be very difficult to change the little dial for when the show is released, 20 minutes, it only takes 2 seconds. We're going to do it for you.
We respond to our listeners.
We are changing the release time of Spike's Car Radio, audio version only, to 7:45 a.m. Newfoundland time. So there you go. And no more requests. That's the only one we're granting.
You know what you just did?
What's
opened
that?
The floodgates.
No, the only people from Newfoundland. If you're a Newfoundland listener, we've got something for you.
Newfoundland.
Is it Newfoundland or Foundland?
Newfoundland.
And here's what you can do for us. What's his name? John?
James.
Some seafood.
We're going to get you. We're also going to send you some BlueChew because we know, judging by that Santa Claus costume, you're going to need some BlueChew, my friend, very soon. You're looking a little crispy. And James, you want to be ready. You want to be ready when Mrs. Claus needs it. So get your first month of BlueChew free. Great sex is only a few clicks away. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their hot licensed medical providers. And once you're approved,
hot before licensed.
we're going to get James all bricked up. Woo! You'll be posting about your boners on your Instagram.
It's going to get stuck in that chimney. Stuff it down the chimney.
He really does need. He needs help. This is your new Instagram feed. Get some BlueChew. Now that we've done something for you, you do something for us. Get the BlueChew and then post about it. Post about how it's working.
Get stuck in that chimney.
BlueChew is free with promo code SPIKE911. You just pay for shipping. That's promo code SPIKE911. Go to BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast.
Yes.
What else are we talking about? Oh, I threw away some of my show.
That's the senile moment.
More show.
Look at Grandpa.
That's officially the halfway point of a show when Zuckerman does that.
Yes. The elephant.
Here we go. We've touched upon pretty much all of this, but we haven't. Johnny, you were just at some newfangled car show. That looked pretty cool.
It was great, actually.
The resulting social media was nice. It was in Miami.
Yes.
And it's called?
Moda Miami.
And what is it?
It's a spite show.
What?
Spite show. So when Haggerty bought Amelia Island, they also formed Broad Arrow, the auction house, and they hired away 27 RM employees, and they kicked RM out of Amelia Island. So last year, Rob from RM decided to counter program against Amelia Island.
That's right, because Amelia Island was this weekend.
Amelia Island's right now. But last year they were on the same weekend. It didn't go so well. This year they separated them by a week.
I see.
And it's a terrific show. First of all, there's this hotel in Miami in Coral Gables called the Biltmore. One of the world's great hotels. Like, apparently it was just like it was built in 1920 and then it got, abandoned. And people knew about it because it was a golf course, a great golf course, but the hotel was just like an empty shell. Did a massive renovation. Unbelievable, the building. Like, it just I think it was actually like a Spanish hotel they brought over brick by brick in the 20s. Went decrepit. It was
What's better? The Churchill, $2 billion Churchill Hotel in London you were going on
the
about?
Raffles OWO, the old war offices, is the greatest hotel in the world, bar none. But this is very nice. This is great. And I think it's the biggest swimming pool in North America. It's massive. It's insane.
So what is it? It's a whole weekend event, or it's a one day?
It was 4 days. So I got there on Thursday, and they had an auction, and it was like cars from the Indy Motorsports Museum, and that was wild because there was a Ford GT from '67 that I think got second place in Le Mans that sold for 12 or 13 million.
Is any of it on your Instagram?
Yeah,
Can we put up the Johnny Lee run? There we go.
Go start with the one next to Titus's head. Yeah. So this is a little video. So this is just kind of in one spot.
Wow.
F40 Carrera GT, world's most perfect Countach. Look at that. That would match your E39. F50, which by the way set a record that sold for like 5.5 million, 6 million after fees. 959S, one of 29. That's some Duesenberg.
Some Duesenberg.
Yeah, that's
no big deal.
Whatever that is. McLaren. Enzo. This is just one little part of the auction. It was just insane. Oh, it's a P1 GT. GT3, whatever. Anyway, it was incredible. So it's cars like that. And then if you go back, Cam, hit the blue Lambo. So this is what the field looked like. And you can click through these. There's like 20 pictures. So there was a matching new Countach. Keep going. Chrysler Airflow. Yeah. 1908 Renault. I love my brass air stuff. So very diverse show. Got to have a 300 SL Roadster and a Gullwing.
I like that.
One of my very favorite cars, the Centenario. It's no one understands this car. It's so good. Keep going. Montreal, beautiful, perfect Alpha Montreal. Car for Zuckerman.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that. That's what you need next.
Yummy.
Some very Miami specific.
Yeah, I would guess so.
Those were like Lorenzo, I can't remember what they were.
Lorzinger.
I think the red one is even wilder. I didn't get a shot of that one. And then that is a F40 LM GTC. So the most hardcore one was the GTE, but this thing is so raced out. It was an actual spec race car. Incredible. Another F50. I love Mopars with big wings. It just gives you the diversity. A Tucker. Yeah. The new SP3 Daytona, the Pagani Utopia,
Just
outfit,
beautiful,
fun
perfect.
Yeah.
Also, notice anywhere you point your camera, it's like the best shot you've ever taken.
Yeah.
And that's a post-war Alpha. I think it's like a 26, it's a 6C 2600.
Right.
So over 4 days, there's a Concours, there's an auction.
Yeah. Me and Magnus Walker gave a little talk. It was supposed to be about like LA car culture, but it felt really weird telling people in Miami anything. So
Right.
he brought
But
his Super Cat.
What are the other days? Like,
Well, there was so there was.
do you know what I mean? So you got an auction one day. You got a
2
Concours.
days of auctions.
2 days of auctions.
Yeah, and then
So are
and
they
then 2
trying
days-
to have like a little bit of a Monterey car week there for over 4 days? Is
Yeah,
that
and
the
then
idea?
the big day is Sunday. So it's the same lawn Saturday and Sunday. However, on Sunday they have a cars and coffee, and it's invite only, and it's just supercars. If you click on that black Lambo that says VTTT, and then 100 supercars drive over and park on the lawn while you're standing there,
Wow.
which was pretty nuts. And Miami has good supercars.
Yeah.
This thing, you ever seen one of these?
No.
Oh, hit next. Yeah. That's the best sticker in the automotive kingdom. That's what you want.
That's a regular sticker that came with a car.
I mean, that came with. I think they made like 30 of these.
Vicious traction twin turbo.
Viscous. Yeah. This is.
Viscous, sorry.
Yeah, this is like the
Viscous. Who would put viscous?
That was a big deal. Viscous coupling when that technology was a big deal. It was a big deal. So I think they made
Back when blood
It's
was
not, but
hitting balls.
it's really too big.
well to you.
But in Miami.
Yeah. But I think they made 80 Diablo GTs and
Yeah.
only like 30 or 40 of these. I mean, this is a rare Lambo.
Wow.
Keep clicking.
I've never seen
this
it
is
before.
more of the supercars. Another one of that. That was these are
That's
all the
gorgeous.
supercars.
That go back.
Yeah.
That-
and
that's
M1s.
the one.
And look
Yeah.
at the wheels, just perfection.
What do they call that blue? That's amazing.
I don't know.
God.
Good blue.
Drew, do you know?
Blue.
It's called blue.
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 Finally.
The expert says it's
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
And then I mean, just again, this was I can't remember. I'm a blank. It's not curated. The other one, Prestige, in it's a big exotic car dealer. They have I think it's called the 100 Club,
Right.
And so they had an even more exclusive little area, and they came separate. But so that's a Bugatti Pure Sport next to a GT3 RS. Oh, there was an Aston Valor that showed up, which is like I love this thing. Look at this car, just
Great
like,
wheel.
Look at this
Honeycomb,
thing.
yeah.
Manual
Yikes.
V12. It
Yeah.
wants to kill you. It just hates you. So
Wow.
good.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it was
Did you
great.
so you're on stage with Magnus?
Yeah.
Did were people listening or were
Yeah.
they talking or what did
You
you
know-
guys do? What did you talk about?
Well, we talked primarily about his car. He has that.
So you just interviewed
TWR.
Magnus?
No, we were both interviewed. And it's like
they had a moderator.
they had two
then.
moderators.
Yeah,
for us,
oh,
yeah.
wow.
But it's like
One
what
for each of you.
what did we talk about on the
Tell one to shut up while the other's talking.
it's like what did we talk about on the podcast 2 weeks ago? I don't remember. But, we had a nice talk.
But you had a good time.
yeah. Oh,
So how old is this event?
this is a second year.
Second year.
And it already got renewed, and I'm already going. This is on
Wow.
my calendar.
They give you money?
Oh, well, I was working with RM, so yes, I was
Let's
So
get some of that.
RM owns it now.
RM Sotheby's, yeah.
RM
but I did
Sotheby's
some work for RM. I made some videos for them.
Let's horn in on his action.
You want to get some
I
cash?
kind of want some money. Want to go to Miami for some money.
We can do that.
Well, here and the other great part is, unlike Amelia Island, like when you're like, all right, I'm done with this, you're in Miami, so there's like
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
to do and food.
That's
to eat,
true.
Unlike being on an island south of Georgia. Yeah,
No, I've
food.
had so much fun at Amelia. I've had so many funny adventures.
Me too.
You and I had some
We did
really fun
an
adventures on
episode
our
of
trip.
Car Matchmaker.
Car Matchmaker. We were there. We closed the place down with Charlie and
Oh,
David
God.
Gooding, and we're kicked out of the hotel for being
Right.
too loud out
Oh,
back,
yeah.
I
smoking cigars.
Remember, I had that great ride.
You had a great ride with a drunk guy who was spilling wine. It's
It was
like
crotch.
burgundy stained teeth.
There's no getting kicked out here.
Do you remember when we were sitting at the restaurant and the manager came over and said, "How was the chicken? How was the dinner?" And Jerry
And our
answered
friend-
honestly.
Yes. and
It's still one of my. I think about it all the time.
Remember how
he goes, "Why do we have to lie to the restaurant manager about his shitty chicken?" Oh my god!
Remember
it's
the
such a
waiter?
funny
Robbie
funny
the Robot, the
observation.
waiter.
What's that?
Remember, he was getting on the waiter too.
Well, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Why do we have to lie to waiters if we don't like the food to make them feel better? It's a funny observation.
And what was also funny was at the party, I was asking one of the guys, I'm like, are you going to Amelia next week? Just, an attendee. He's like, oh, hell yeah. And I go, isn't it like too much? And he looks at me, he goes, nobody in Florida works. And I go, well, isn't it too much dry cleaning? He's like, yeah, all right, it's a lot of dry cleaning.
Nobody in Florida works.
All right. Well, it sounds like it was a great trip, my friend.
Yeah.
We're going to look at that car you bought or brought in a minute. But first, we have to talk about 000 Magazine. Our friends over there are having a very big auction with a very cool car. Their 992 Turbo S Special Wishes car that was here last week. The 000 logo on the central radiator grille, all those beautiful Special Wishes touches. This is a chance for you to get something really cool. Carmen red door mirrors, special Pikes Peak 100 graphics. There it is. This is wow, that's a great photo. Isn't that a great shot?
It is a pretty shot.
Look at the way the light off the left part of the windshield and then the way it picks up the wheels. Well, that's the car you can own. And how do you own it? There's a sweepstakes going on. You only have to go to 000magazine.com and spend a little money. Buy a hat, buy some of their merch. Anything, any place where you spend money, you are automatically entered into winning. A portion of the proceeds from the 000 sweepstakes benefit the 43 Institute. There it is right there. The Ken Block tribute hat right there, the Ken Block charity. And there it is. So just go to 000 Magazine, buy yourself a hat, get entered. And remember, 000 is offering a 10% discount to all SCR listeners through March 31st. But you know, I keep saying definitely enter because I've met people. We were at Matt Ferris thing, and the guy goes, and this guy who works at Netflix, and we had been talking to months earlier, said, yeah, I'm entering this thing in Florida for this Mexico Blue GT4. And I was like, good luck. And then he won.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And he had the car there that day.
He lives in Colorado. He shows up in LA
holy
every week.
I was like, holy shit.
Really? Yeah.
You can win. You can win.
It happens.
All right. So you have a cool car here.
I do.
An electric Maybach
Maybach.
SUV.
Not your Bach, Maybach.
Right.
Yes.
This is and you like this thing.
This is the EQS 680.
And boy, are we jammed in here with cars.
Yeah.
How many?
Out of control.
Yeah, Cameron, show us all the cars in here.
No.
What is going on? Look at this. What is happening here?
And this is not all of his cars, people.
He's
has
out of
more
control.
cars.
All my cars.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to move some out today. Yeah, there's the ST and the 525. All right.
Yeah.
Quickly, tell us what you got here and why you love it, why you hate it.
For $223,000, which is less than your Panamera, you could have the 649 horsepower, 700 pound-feet of torque on those wheels with that $15,000 paint job SUV. It's the 3-row body, but since it's a Maybach, it only seats 4. The rear seats are like luxury airplane style. Learjet, very white interior, but
It's a little dirty, said it got
rained on. It got rained on.
Wait, go along that lower left edge on the front bumper. Yeah. What is this? The Maybach logo?
It's the Maybach logo. Yeah,
is that a real intake or is that?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that closely. But it's Maybach. It's like a Gucci bag. You know, it's got the logo over it. Yeah,
I can't tell if that's cheesy or cool.
I mean, that's the problem with this car. It's cool and cheesy. You want to see cheesy? Cam, please get in the car.
But hold on, wait. Look at the front. Go back to the front for 1 second. It looks like I'm storing my wine in the front of this.
Right.
Maybe you have my collection of wine would be hanging out there.
Yes,
but
it's opulent looking. But
I always have the same approach to these cars. Like, they look kind of insane. You go, I'd never drive it. And then you get in them and they just wrap their arms around you and you just love them.
There's a lot to love. They made a lot of bad EV choices. Like, there's a start button. Why does an EV have a start button? It's stupid, but it has it. But Cam, get in the car.
Okay, let's
You got to
go
see the interior.
Why is that cow picture there, Zuckerman? What is
I don't know. Stuff shows up here. I have no control over the decor.
Open the door into the wall, Cam.
Yeah, please.
Just keep pushing. The handles are horrible, so that's a fail. Just keep pushing on it. Like, actually physically push it. Yeah. Where's the key?
Did you?
You probably don't have the key.
No, the key's in the car.
Yeah, the key's in there.
Yeah, it should just open.
There it goes.
Oh, there we go.
I was thinking if you blocked us in, I would have lost my shit.
You just have to touch it. You touch the outside of the handle and it opens.
It's a giant fail. It's a giant fail.
Okay, hold on. Take us through it. It looks beautiful, by the way.
No,
Talk about Miami.
Yeah, well, no. Okay, Cam, sit in the car and push the start button like I showed you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, now watch.
He's going to drive right
I don't know
into
what
a
he's doing.
GT2
There,
RS.
come on, start button. There. Look at that. Look at the lights.
Horrible. I hate this car.
Look, there's lights in the sunroof. Cam, look at the sunroof. There's lights in the sunroof.
Show this the sunroof. That's up.
It is up.
He can't hear us.
I feel like I'm in a scene in that movie,
Yeah, see it?
Agora.
No,
In
no,
the- in the limo.
this is Battlestar Galactica
Yeah.
stuff. I like this. I like
Yeah.
all of it so far.
Yeah. So, that stuff is great. The seats are actually fit.
Zuckerman, okay.
Fantastic.
Imagine what we could do with this on a Friday night with a bag of cocaine.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes.
In Miami.
A big freezer bag. A lot of energy. I would need it all.
This
of
looks
that.
like a really fun weekend. I mean, it's a 1 weekend deal. Look at that.
So it's
Think of who you have to hang
it's-
out with to have fun in this vehicle.
That's all right.
So far, I'm liking everything I'm seeing.
So
This
I've
seems like a
been
lot of
taking my kid and the neighbor kid to school in it because it's been raining.
Yep.
And like they're just in heaven. Like they
Yeah,
just cannot
yeah.
believe how cool the back seat is.
I mean, what happens living with white seats like this? Do
Oh,
they
not
just
good.
get? I mean, do they have stain resistant like anything, or is it just going to be a mess in 2 weeks?
All I know for sure is that the two-tone leather, because it's gray leather on top, is $7,750 for the leather, and the two-tone paint is $15,000. But again, for $223,000, somehow these days it's not crazy expensive. Like
No, not at all.
if you were going to get, like there are Range Rovers.
you
that
could get a house in most states,
Yeah.
or you could get the disco ball on
Look,
4 wheels.
Again, the Panamera is more money and less torque. You can get a Range Rover for $350,000 these days. You could get the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, which is like starts at $4 million. So it's not crazy money for what it is. And I do love the fact.
Crazy money. If I was working a minimum wage job, how many years would I have to?
How much? Tell us how much you paid for the yellow car.
And what was on the back seat? Headphones?
Headphones. Yeah, it comes with 2 pairs of headphones.
And what are they hooked up to? Just
The TV monitors in the back of the seat. So my kid's been watching
I
YouTube. He's never been happier in his life. He's got built-in YouTube. But again,
but do you see, Zuckerman, they put the headphones in, so what they're saying to parents is you won't have to listen to the crap they watch.
Right.
which is
See,
great.
again, I like it.
I
I like
like
all of it.
again,
I
it's
can't
a
stand it.
7-passenger size that they made a 4-seater out of. So there's tons of room.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and the seats recline.
Oh
and
my
there's
God.
a footrest, and there's
Come on,
pillows.
this is a party. This is a good time, Zuckerman.
Yeah.
But the kids have to be young.
Yeah.
You have to be rich and not care about how you present to the world.
Look how much neon is in this car.
And it's fun. Like I don't know. Like back in the day, Zuckerman, we're in our 20s.
You want to have fun, you need a bench seat. Right? You can't have that
we're
thing in the
single.
middle.
We're
Oh,
living
you
in
can't-
Hollywood.
You can't. The middle thing is an impediment
you
to
have fun once you get out.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't mean that. I just mean back when you want to cruise Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood on a Saturday night, this would be great. Once a week.
If you had a gallon bag of cocaine in this car, you'd be so
This is
stoked.
a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
You're putting people in a good mood in this car.
I will say it doesn't bounce, and the gas powered Maybach SUV bounces. So I think that's
So
a
what do we
fail.
get to the charge in our party mobile?
A lot. It's like all Mercedes EVs. It just goes forever and ever and ever. You never have to worry about charging it. It just
What do you mean?
Mercedes EVs just get crazy good mileage. That's why they're shaped like that.
So over 300.
Way over 300. Yeah. I at 52%. It said I had 215 miles left or something. Wow. It just goes forever. It's just like they're really aerodynamic, and their braking strategy is really smart.
I like it.
Yeah. Again, I can nitpick a lot of things, but overall, and again, it's just like, why fuck up the door handles so bad? It's stuff like that. But it drives great. It's really fast. Oh, rear steer with the 10 degrees of rear steer, so you can like just do a U-turn in place. It's great. which is great,
We could take this out to dinner, Musso and Frank's, and have a nice time.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I think it's a car you drive 6 times a year when you're in the right mood. That's it.
Yeah.
No more. No more than that.
You go to Nobu, Malibu with a woman half your age, and everything's great.
I think you're doing the perfect thing. Kids. This is about kids.
Oh, the kids
having
love it.
fun,
Kids
wife having
making
fun.
kids.
It didn't rain yesterday, and so the neighbor kids were walking out of the house at the same time, and I was like, "Hey, come with us!" And the mom's like, "You know what? It's a nice day. I need the exercise."
Yeah.
And the kid goes, "I wish I could go in the fancy car." And Richard just has the headphones on.
Yeah. That's always been my experience in them, electric or otherwise. The
Yeah.
Maybach line is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just don't You know, you can't Richie Rich it too much. You can't use it too much. You can't daily it. It's saying all the wrong things to the world. But a party mobile every once in a while, that it's fun.
And you assume everyone hates your guts in this thing. Like,
but you won't care. You won't hear them or see them.
In a Rolls Royce, it's funny. Like in a Rolls Royce, you just forget the rest of the world exists. But I'm very conscious of the fact that everybody hates me in this car. So it's
Everyone hates you anyway.
I know. I'm conscious of the fact, though.
That's not nice.
That's
Anyway,
fine.
that's our show.
right.
We've done a fine show, gentlemen. Zuckerman's already taking off. Johnny's taking his final swigs. And next week, we're going to have Jim Farley, CEO of Ford. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.